Good evening. So at work, we have a chalkboard, a section of wall that has chalk paint on it that we use for patients. Sometimes it's got football game predictions on there, so we can put tally marks. Sometimes it's just a quote up there. Sometimes someone draws a picture, not me. But anything really that you would think to draw on a chalkboard or put on a chalkboard. So a few months ago, around New Year's, someone decided to put a place on there for everyone to write their New Year's resolutions. Great idea, share with the whole group. That was everyone come in and out about what our resolutions were. So after a week or so, there was a bunch up there, not the whole thing full, but quite a few up there. And I don't remember all of them, but I was just sitting there at the desk reading through them and everything. And something kind of caught my attention and piqued my interest in all these things that people had written on the wall. There was one common theme that ran through just about all of them, not all of them, just about, a good majority of them. A lot of them were phrased as more something, X, Y, Z, whatever you want to put after the word more. Some of them were go to more concerts, listen to more podcasts, meet more friends, read more, make more money, put more in retirement savings, learn more skills, exercise more, run more volunteering, etc. The list goes on and on. And some of those really aren't bad, to be honest. Some of them are good ideas for resolutions. Usually what resolutions are for, they're well-intentioned. We all know that. But the common thing of more got me to thinking about how that is almost always our mindset for life, whether it's spiritual related or just daily life. We almost always want to change things and add more of something else. Or we just simply want more of whatever it may be. That's kind of the American mindset, isn't it? And sometimes we should add more things like reading our Bible more or praying more. Adding those things aren't bad. But it made me realize that we probably need to incorporate less of some things in our lives as well. And this at times is probably the harder option, and that's why we rarely identify that as the change, because it's the harder one. So after some studying and reading, after I kind of was thinking about that day, I realized that biblically it appears we need a balance of these two things, and that's where we should be. We're told in 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 to add to our faith. And there's a whole list of things there, and there's certainly things that we need to add more of, like that list mentions. But we have to be sure that we're adding the right things to our lives. But in the Bible, we're also told to take away things. We're given things that we need less of. In John chapter 3 and verse 30, it says, "He must increase, but I must decrease." Some versions say, "He must become greater, I must become less." So sometimes we need less of us and more of him. Matthew chapter 16, verse 24 says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.'" Once again, it's less of ourselves and more of Jesus. In Romans chapter 12, verse 1, "I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service." If it's a sacrifice, if we're giving our bodies a living sacrifice, that requires less of something. It has to cost us something. And that may be less of ourselves, less of what we want. But that's not always the easy thing, and that's why we oftentimes want to say, "Oh, I want to add more of this." So like I said earlier, there has to be a balance of adding and removing in our lives in order to grow and become healthy Christians. But it still seems like removing or committing to doing less of some things is the harder option. So maybe tonight you realize that you do need to obey the gospel and add God and the Word to your daily life. Or maybe you're on the other side and you realize that tonight you've decided that there's things tonight you need less of to remove from your life in order to make room for God. Whether you need to put on Christ in baptism tonight, or you need the prayers of the church here for forgiveness and strength in doing so and making changes in your life, we're here to help you if you'll come forward and stand as we stand and sing.